Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, find out how local volunteers changed one family's life. But first, hear about the struggle to find owners for low-income housing. And later, we'll tell you what unattractive sites might be keeping some people from moving to the county. All this and more on the Rockbridge Report. Happy St. Patrick's Day and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Michael Freeman.
And I'm Brooke Sutherland. With the nuclear crisis mounting in Japan, some members of Congress have expressed concerns about our own nuclear energy industry, and Virginia is not exempt from that. Virginia has 2 nuclear power plants, one in Surrey and one in North Anna. Both are operated by Dominion Virginia Power, and Dominion has been hoping to expand its North Anna plant. But the disaster in Japan has officials worried that they would not be able to keep the reactors under control if something similar happened here. Washington and Lee professor Frank Settle says that nuclear power has a great track record in the U.S. However, he thinks that this disaster will make people more hesitant about using nuclear energy.
The R.E. Lee Building Financial Incentive Plan is still under negotiation, but the two sides are close to finalizing a deal. Rockbridge reporter Tyler Jakarzik has more on the most recent proposed plan.
City Attorney Larry Mann says no official agreement has been made yet, but believes City Council and Ugo Benincasa are very close to finalizing the financial incentive plan for the building.
We're at the point where we know most of the key terms, so I would say you're going to see some tweaking, but I don't think you'll see anything major change.
The most recent negotiations between Mann and Benincasa's attorney Steve Greist include a limited right of first refusal. Benincasa would purchase the parking spaces behind the building from the city over the course of 6 years and 4 months. During that time, the city would have the first opportunity to buy the spaces if Benincasa chose to sell them.
What we've agreed is at the end of that period of time, once he makes his final payment, then all of those conditions disappear. It's his, it's part of the project. By then we'll know whether the project is functional, whether it's successful, and I think we can let go.
City Council member Bob Lira has been outspoken against selling the parking spaces to Benincasa, but believes the new agreement ensures he will run the hotel effectively.
If you can do that successfully for 6 years, 4 months, and then decides to retire right off into the sunset, and the business is going good and it's contributing to the vitality of downtown, God love him.
City Council is waiting to hear back from Benincasa and his attorney to finalize the deal before they can vote on the plan. City Manager John Elstead says there is still a lot of work that needs to be done before the hotel becomes a reality.
There are so many things that still have yet to be done, but they all stem from getting the council to approve the financial incentive plan.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Tyler Jakarzik.
Mann thinks there will be something for council to approve in concept at tonight's meeting, but there are still some moving pieces.
Buena Vista residents may soon see an additional fee on their water bills. The city is weighing options on how to update its water filtration system because of the contaminated Dickinson well. The city can choose to build a new filtration system itself so that the well can still be used, or it can accept an offer from the Maury Service Authority to build a water line from Lexington to Buena Vista. A $13 monthly surcharge will be added to residents' bills, only if the city chooses to build a new filtration system. Some citizens are worried about the extra charge, but Buena Vista officials say it would be the better option for the city in the long run. For more than 12 years, Threshold, Lexington's housing commission, has been helping low-income residents find affordable housing. Rockbridge reporter Eleanor Kennedy has more on the group's latest efforts to give low-income residents a place to live.
This house at 313 Massey Street has 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 2 porches. What it doesn't have is an owner. 313 and its neighbor 311 are owned by Threshold. Since its founding in 1988, Threshold has renovated and sold 95 houses. But recently, Threshold's hit a stumbling block in finding qualified buyers.
In the past, all of our houses have sold immediately or None of them have waited this long to sell.
The recent economic downturn may be to blame for the unsold houses, which have been on the market for several years. The city has turned down many potential buyers because their credit scores were too low to get a loan.
When we first started, I would say 1 in 4 people qualified for home ownership. Now we're finding that it's less than 1 in 10.
The houses cost about $99,000, but the city provides assistance to keep costs as low as possible. Since rental prices in the area range from $500 to as high as $1,000 a month, City Council member Marilyn Alexander says home ownership may be the best option for some residents.
But this is money you could be putting in a mortgage into something that you own.
The Massey Street houses cannot be sold to investors. That means when the houses are sold, Lexington citizens, not students, will live there.
And I want to see our neighborhoods here in Lexington continue to be family neighborhoods, to have kids playing in the backyards and people sitting on the front porches and visiting.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Eleanor Kennedy.
The money from the sale of the houses will be used to fund other threshold programs. The commission also runs Safe and Sound, a program that makes minor repairs to older homes in the community.
Local attorney Josh Elrod has announced his intention to run for Commonwealth's attorney for Rockbridge County in the city of Lexington. Elrod is a graduate of Lexington High School, the College of Worcester, and the University of Virginia Law School. This will be his first run at public office after 10 years in private practice. At least 3 candidates plan to run for Rockbridge County Sheriff in November. All 3 men have previous law enforcement experience. Captain Chris Blaylock currently works as at the Sheriff's Department. Roger Clark is an administrative assistant, and the Lexington Police. Vernon Reynolds recently retired from the Middle River Regional Jail after Sheriff Robert Day recently announced that he will not run for his 6th term. Day also said he endorses Blaylock 100%.
The Rockbridge County School Board has decided to cut 2 positions. We'll tell you why coming up.
And later, see what brought Buena Vista residents together for a good cause.
I wouldn't have been at this ceremony if I hadn't been at this ceremony first. Unfortunately, nearly 30% of U.S. high school students aren't making it to graduation, and every one of us, every parent, every friend, and neighbor, has the responsibility to provide the support and encouragement they need to make it through, because we all need to see a lot more of these pictures.
The Lexington City School Board wants to give salary raises to its teachers for the first time in 2 years.
But not all Lexington educators will see larger paychecks. On March 7th, the board approved a 2-step pay increase for teachers not already at the top of the pay scale. To compensate, the board is also looking for federal grant money to give bonuses to its higher paid faculty. Lexington City Council is reviewing budget proposals and should decide on a final budget by May 1st. The board's proposal would require a half-cent increase in the city property tax rates.
The county school board held a work session on Monday to try and balance the budget for the 2011-2012 school year. The budget balances out at $25.6 million, about $1 million less than last year. Rockbridge reporter Brooke Simmons has more on Monday's work session.
The work session focused on the proposed budget that was originally $175,000 out of balance. The board decided to cut 2 positions, a special education position at the main office and a teaching position at Maury River Middle School. However, as previously reported, it added a $578 annual pay raise for each teacher.
I think it's really important to show them how important and how appreciated their job is, because our job certainly hasn't gotten easier. It's gotten more difficult each year with new mandates, new graduation requirements, and so I think it's really important to do whatever was necessary to give them that increase.
The $25.6 million budget will now be sent to the Board of Supervisors for approval. Once the board agrees, the budget will be sent back to the Virginia Department of Education.
They ultimately have to agree to their portion of that for it to become basically our official budget, but I think that'll happen.
The school board did not discuss during the work session the $7.5 million grant it received from the state last week. Reynolds says the board has not received any more information regarding the grant for the school district to proceed with possibly consolidating or renovating its middle schools.
An informal meeting regarding the possible consolidation of the 2 county middle schools will be held on Monday, March 28th. The meeting will be held at Rockbridge County High School. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Brooke Simmons.
The Board of Supervisors will also meet on Monday, March 28th, to vote on the school budget.
Coming up, find out what organization is building community spirit in Buena Vista.
And later, hear what one resident says is keeping people from moving to the area.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Rockbridge Habitat for Humanity celebrated its completion of its 48th house this past Sunday in Buena Vista.
Rockbridge reporter Colleen King has more on how volunteers from the community came together to build a new home.
Work on the house on Hawthorne Avenue started in October. This house is one of 4 homes built throughout the year. The houses are built by different volunteer groups.
One like this one is a Disciples Build house, which involves contributions from local churches. They contribute finances as well as labor.
The housewarming party attracted volunteers, neighbors, and habitat workers eager to congratulate the homeowner Melissa Carter and her family. Carter played a big role in constructing her new home. As part of the habitat process, all future homeowners are required to spend at least 100 hours building another habitat house and 250 hours working on their own house. Carter faced some fears during the process.
There's some things that I never thought that I could do, because I'm afraid of heights, and so I got up on a ladder and helped with putting the sign on.
The construction supervisor and his assistant coordinated all the on-site building with Carter and the rest of the volunteers.
By having me and Kelly there teaching skills and showing people what tools to use and kind of leading the construction, anybody can plug in.
Habitat for Humanity coordinators expressed their appreciation of organizations' volunteers.
I think it's people helping people, people identifying people in this community that have a need, and then other people gathering together to help them.
Habitat for Humanity requires an extensive application process for potential homeowners. Interested applicants must have a job, a manageable level of debt, and spend a certain amount of time volunteering. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Colleen King.
House is the last house completed under the leadership of Executive Director Dan Walls. Walls has led Rockbridge Habitat for 10 years and is now going to work for the International Habitat for Humanity. Lynn Leach has taken over as Interim Executive Director for 3 months.
Lexington businessman Dan Vance has been named the 2010 Business Individual of the Year by the Lexington Rockbridge County Chamber of Commerce. The award highlights citizens who are involved in local business and also volunteer in the community. Vance, a financial advisor for Edward Jones, moved to Lexington 25 years ago and opened the town's first Edward Jones office. Vance says he is proud to receive the award and happy that the Chamber is recognizing small business. The area will get a mix of sun and rain this week, but it looks like the warm temperatures are here to stay. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a high of 78 and a low of 56. Saturday will be rainy with a high of 65 and a low of 42. It will be mostly cloudy on Sunday with a high of 58 and a low of 46. Showers return on Monday with a high of 69 and a low of 55. And Tuesday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 72 and a low of 55. Coming up, find out what milestone Dabney Lancaster Community College is celebrating this year.
But first, hear what one resident says is deterring people from his house. Brownsburg, Virginia is a historic town in Rockbridge County.
but it is losing its core facilities. In the past 10 years, Brownsburg has lost its school and its bank, and now it is at risk for losing its post office. Although the downsizing will cut costs, some residents worry that people will leave the town if more services are closed. The U.S. Postal Service has not yet decided to close the Brownsburg post office, but if it does, the historic building will remain intact.
County residents hoping to sell their homes may face obstacles besides the economy. Rockbridge reporter Finley Merritt takes a look at another factor that could affect local property values.
Rockbridge County is celebrated for its scenic beauty, but an eyesore like junk cars poses a problem for attracting new residents to the county.
You will not have as many people who are attracted to that property as you would have if it had nice rose beds rather than junk cars.
Longtime county residents William and Vicki Agnor have tried to sell their house near Natural Bridge for years, but having junk cars nearby makes it difficult.
The last person that looked at my house, when they went out the door, they asked me about they called them junk vehicles. How long had the junk vehicles been sitting down there? So, and I said, be honest, for some time, but I'm hoping to get that resolved, and that was 2 years ago.
The county revamped the junk car ordinance in 2009, adding exemptions for new salvage yard businesses. Residents can have up to 5 vehicles on their property, but those vehicles must be hidden or covered. After the first citation, officers will issue $100 fees.
You can drive down pretty much any country road in Rockbridge County, you're going to see an inoperable vehicle. So it's basically new folks coming into the county. They want to see the scenic beauty of Rockbridge, and they're pushing it on the board supervisor and us to try to clean up some of these vehicles.
Agnor believes the ordinance could be more strictly enforced.
But unless it's enforced, to me, you have no gain. As we say in the country, you don't have squat.
The ordinance has exemptions for salvage yards, such as Southers in Buena Vista. Peggy Southers says most people keep their cars for auto parts, but some keep them for sentimental reasons.
Some people are fascinated with old cars. Regardless of the age and condition of it, they're fascinated with it.
Southers says she has seen an improvement in the county. She says the number of roadside junk cars has decreased in the last 5 years, but it still remains a problem. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Finley Merritt.
Residents can apply for antique tags for their junk cars that would exempt them from violating the ordinance. Dabney S. Lancaster Community College plans to spend the next year celebrating.
We'll tell you what milestone the college has reached coming up.
I really want to show you something.
1, 2, ready, go. L-O-V-E. It's a mystery. All is love. Is love.
Did you play today? For great play ideas, visit www.smallstep.gov.
Dabney S. Lancaster Community College will celebrate its 50th anniversary this year.
The college was established in 1962 at the local branch of Virginia Tech. It was renamed after Dabney Lancaster in 1967. Although the anniversary is not until March 2012, the college plans to commemorate the occasion for the whole year leading up to that date. The celebration will honor the college's namesake, who devoted his life to education, especially in Virginia.
Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm Brooke Sutherland.
And I'm Michael Freeman. Thanks for joining us.